This is chapter 3 of Stormbound novella, Duty Calls. Maddie. My brother had pushed just the wrong button again. So here I was volunteering to check on the one man I didn't need in my life right now. Everything I never went for in a man: impulsive, rebellious, sinfully hot. And of course my parents adored him. He'd only been here a couple of years, but somehow Aaron had slotted himself into Moonlit Glen life like he'd been born to it. Everyone loved the rogue with a crooked grin. "Are you sure, Maddie?" my father, our pack elder, asked, gaze flicking toward the horizon. That look, the slight furrow in his brow, the one that said he wasn't sure I was up for it. The prick of irritation flared sharp and fast. "Yes, I'm sure." I layered fake brightness into my tone, biting back the urge to snap. I'd only been on an emergency call since 5 a.m., but I could handle it. Besides, if something had happened to Aaron, an injury or illness, I'd be the best placed person to help him. Dad nodded, satisfied enough to leave. Once my bedroom door was pushed to, I moved fast, folded my clothes, set them neatly at the foot of my bed, then stood still for one long breath. I willed the change. In wolf form, I was smaller, I was faster, but never taken seriously enough. Didn't matter. I was strong enough, capable enough, and more than ready to prove it. I adjusted to my wolf senses, the sharpened vision and hearing, the sense that filled my snout. Even in human form, smell was an essential sense for us, but as wolves we could smell a lot. I nudged the door open with my muzzle and trotted to the family room. My father was standing with his arms around my mother. She was relaxed against him, knowing he'd hold her up. He had done so for 30 years that they'd been mated. They were lucky, but they'd also worked for it. They were great role models for the path I was to follow. Mum scratched my neck and I leaned into it. Dad gently slid the bag through one paw, then the other, clipping it on. It had a change of clothes and my phone. "Be safe, sweetheart," Mum murmured. I rubbed her leg and then went out the door that Dad had opened. I headed up over the well-worn path towards the cabin at the far end of our territory. I could smell the storm brewing. It was a fair distance. All of it was deserted. No one was caught off guard by this forecast, except for Aaron, and for some reason he'd turned off his comms. After about an hour of comfortable running, the cabin came into view. It was a wooden cabin with a slightly sloping roof. The cabin and outdoor components, water tank and generator, appeared in good shape. I loped up onto the deck at the first crack of thunder, sudden and violent. The cabin door creaked open and there he was, Aaron. For half a second, surprise flickered in his eyes. Then came the inevitable smirk, that damn smirk. Of course he looked like trouble served hot. Damp hair curling slightly at the ends, a worn t-shirt clinging to muscles he didn't even pretend to hide. His scent hit me next, wood smoke, rain, and something darker beneath. My wolf all but sighed. No, nope, no, absolutely not. My stomach flipped, traitorous as hell. I told myself it was irritation. It wasn't. My wolf crouched low inside me, tail flicking. She liked his scent, liked his presence, liked him. I did not. I told her sternly, "Excuse me, miss, we are not submitting to him, not now, not ever." His smirk deepened as if he could hear every word of my denial. "They send the cavalry." His voice was rough, low, like he hadn't spoken in days. The sound slid under my skin, warm and unwelcome. I forced a snuff of breath and walked past him, letting my tail brush his leg just a little harder than necessary. Not happening. He chuckled and the feeling went straight to my stomach. It felt warm. "Feeling feisty today, princess?" And it smelled exactly like him inside. Warm, masculine, wild. I hated that my wolf liked it. I hated that I liked it. I walked behind the shade separating the living areas from the bed and shuffled the bag off my back. I shifted, skin replacing fur, senses dulling. I pulled on my clothes quickly, refusing to think about the scent clinging to the air. My wolf wanted to linger. I didn't. "Generator working?" I asked from behind the shade as I shucked on my clothes. I pulled on my jumper quickly. There was a chill in the air. I looked at the bed. It was old, but covered with a thick duvet. It was perfectly made up. It looked like the pack bad boy knew how to make his bed. I tried not to think of him sleeping on it, and I definitely did not wonder if he slept naked. I never wondered those sorts of things about Sam. When Aaron spoke, it sounded like he'd stayed on the far side of the cabin. "Yeah, I just haven't gotten the heater on yet. It was all hot from the repairs I had to make. This place was a bit worn down." He paused as another crack of thunder rumbled by. "Why are you here?" A storm is coming and you turned off your comms. I hugged myself and stomped to get warm, walking out from behind the shade. Aaron pushed off the door where he was leaning and turned on the heating. Sorry, I was enjoying the quiet. Heavy rain hit the roof and we both looked up. Lucky I just fixed that. Looks like we're here overnight. This was the last place I should be, and yet, part of me wasn't sorry. If you want the whole Stormbound novella, you can grab it for free on my PayHip store now, and make sure you like and subscribe for the next chapters.